Hi, I'm Carol Andrews for another episode of Southwest TV News. Here are some of the stories coming up on today's show. As the temperatures heat up throughout the summer, active weather is often in the forecast. As the Cypress Health Region and the town of Leader continue to lobby the province for a financial commitment for an integrated healthcare facility in the Southwest community, the Health Region has now decided to move the primary healthcare clinic and community health services to the Leader Hospital. Last summer, Grasslands National Park set a precedent by partnering with Explore.org, a California-based philanthropic multimedia firm. Thanks for joining us here today. As the temperatures heat up throughout the summer season, storms are a common occurrence across the province, and Environment Canada is reminding you to play it safe. As the temperatures heat up throughout the summer, active weather is often in the forecast. Environment Canada will issue a variety of statements, starting with a weather watch, indicating that active weather may occur in specific locations. And as the situation progresses, a warning will be issued when more active weather has occurred or is on the verge of striking an area. And when it comes to tornadoes, Environment Canada says this specific type of weather develops in the following format.
A couple of things I think that one should always be aware of is that, tornadoes don't occur with blue skies and white puffy clouds. There's often some, clearly you can sense it, you can smell it, you can feel it, you can see it through animal behavior that, hey, there's something afoot here, there's something happening into the atmosphere. And so it's always important to be an observer of the atmosphere and look for obvious signs such as dark clouds, dark skies, maybe even a green or a yellow kind of sky that can often set it off, thunder, lightning. These are all parts. Tornadoes are embedded in severe thunderstorms, and so there's no sneak attack here. They are well observed before they actually hit.
And if you do find yourself in a location where a storm is on the horizon, the following safety measures should be taken.
Just know in any circumstance where you should go. I mean, if you're in the car or if you're at home or in a picnic area, just kind of say, well, if we do get one of these severe events that come right at us, what should we do, and not just leave it at that crisis moment to decide what your game plan should be. And certainly seeking shelter in a building makes sense, but not just that. I mean, it's important that people must realize that what kills you, what injures you in a tornado is the flying debris. And so what you want to do, if seeking shelter in a basement or in a sturdy building, you want to cover your head and your neck, get under a table, under something that could take the blow rather than your body. And flying debris is, as I say, it's the glass and the wood that's flying around in the air that often hurts people. And if you're outdoors, of course, and there's no shelter, well, it's a matter of possibly a ditch, a low-lying area, and again, covering your head and neck and getting down low so any debris that is blowing by you will blow over top of you.
According to stats from Environment Canada, an average of 18 tornadoes occur each summer across Saskatchewan, with July being the peak month for this type of active weather. Southwest TV News is hitting the road with our annual Summer Around the Southwest tour, covering a variety of exciting events across the region. The Southwest TV News Summer Around the Southwest tour is proudly brought to you by Innovation Credit Union. Imagine the possibilities. The Cypress Health Region is planning to move a number of health services all under one roof in Leader. We have more in this report. As the Cypress Health Region and the town of Leader continue to lobby the province for a financial commitment for an integrated healthcare facility in the Southwest community, The health region has now decided to move the primary health care clinic and community health services to the Leader Hospital. This move came to light through ongoing discussions with community stakeholders, aging infrastructure, and the desire to make services such as physician appointments and lab work more accessible for all patients under one roof.
We know that we can't sustain services in 3 locations, so we're going to collapse it down to 2. We have our community health services building there that on estimate needs about $1 million worth of work. The roof is faulty and the subfloor is faulty, and so we just don't feel that it's prudent from a financial perspective to sink $1 million into a building that wouldn't be worth $1 million when you were done it. So we're going to take the services that are currently provided in that community health services and we're going to move them into the hospital. The reason we can do that is our hospital, when the hospitals were built, they were built for 20 to 25 patients. We know that through improvement in medicine and how we operate, we're now down to probably needing that 10 to 12 beds. So we do have some capacity within the hospital that we can do some small renovations in and move those services in.
Tenders for this contract are now being advertised, with the goal of all services in place at the hospital by mid-October. And as far as the cost for these upgrades, Regier says the health region is basing its calculations on similar work at the Shaunavon Hospital, which rang in around the $250,000 mark, with funding for the Leader Hospital upgrades stemming from the Cypress Health Region's surplus.
At this point, we will submit a request to the ministry for additional funding to help us with this. However, we feel that we need to do this, and so we're not going to wait for that funding. So you're absolutely correct. We did have an operating surplus this year, and so we will take some dollars out of there to make this happen. And that's the fortunate when, for all the right reasons, we're able to come up with a surplus. We don't try for a surplus. We always try to run that zero balance. But when we have a surplus, then we have some opportunities where we can do this. And so, and a lot of our staff and the general public don't understand when you have a surplus, well, why aren't you investing that back into staffing? People need to understand that that surplus is one-time funding. And so it gives us that opportunity to put some of that back into our capital infrastructure.
The transition of healthcare services to the Leader Hospital is expected to take place in mid-October, with local residents advised in advance of any temporary disruptions during the moving process.
In the town before, there was 2 different clinics working out of 2 different separate buildings. So having that all under one roof, it's all a benefit to the patient.
Another exciting season of Market Square returns to downtown Swift Current, featuring live entertainment, fresh garden produce, crafts, and other unique vendors. Market Square, every Saturday at the corner of Central and Chaplin. Presented by Standard Motors, in partnership with Innovation Credit Union and Southwest TV News. Well, it's been over a year now since Bison Web Cams were introduced at Grasslands National Park, and the concept has been a hit. Last summer, Grasslands National Park set a precedent by partnering with Explore.org, a California-based philanthropic multimedia firm who installed 2 webcams to track the bison throughout the park. Now, 1 year later, and the bison have developed a following online, with over 1 million views recorded between the 2 webcams, with a 3rd camera recently installed.
Yes, well, one thing that people were sort of asking about was twofold. One was in the winter time. You know, the bison spend most of the winter in a different area of the park, and of course that leads into spring when there's bison calving going on, and they tend to spend it in the same place as they winter. And it's not an easily accessible part of the park. And so we thought, well, maybe if we could put a camera up there, then people would be able to see the bison and the calves. Everybody loves the calves.
And although Grasslands officials cannot track exactly where the viewers are from who have followed the bison through the webcams, there has been a greater awareness of the park in general.
We certainly have seen an increase in overall knowledge of Grasslands. I mean, Grasslands is a relatively new park, so one of the challenges that we do have is that many people, even within the province, don't know that it's there. And so one thing we've noticed is more and more people not only know about it, but know where it is and what it has to offer.
More information on Grasslands National Park or the Bison webcams can be found online on the park's website or through Explore.org. Well, this brings to a close another episode of Southwest TV News, reporting the stories that matter to you. We always welcome your news tips. You can always reach us here by phone at our studio or by email to contact us at southwesttvnews.com. Also, be sure to join us daily online for the latest news from across Southwest Saskatchewan and so much more at MyLocalTV.ca. And be sure to follow us on a range of social media. Thanks for joining us here today. I'm Carol Andrews.